Hey y'all, so this is day two. My senior retention journey. Let me put actually day two because I'm measuring my stuff. And we'll use this as a baseline day. Today was my first day actually being around people at my job, and generally I felt good. Like I did not feel, you know, just discouraged or anything or intimidated by people. So yeah, and that's just me. So today I'm gonna have a baseline day for all my stats, energy, my social confidence, how my mind is right now, how positive I am, my faith, how much effort I'm putting in. Everything I do right now is a baseline for the rest of my journey. So today, I only made about $50. I don't have the money now, but that's how long I worked and that's how much money I got from that. And yeah, this is just gonna be just the starting point. And I say for a starting point, like today was honestly a pretty nice day, and honestly, like you know, bro, even was getting some attraction. So I know the benefits haven't kicked in yet, but they will. I'm just going to track how that affects my current situation. So, even though I put a five, it doesn't mean like, it was all right. Like today was honestly a great day. But you know, you know how it is, man. As the days go on, you wanna gain more and more benefits. So for now, today was honestly a pretty I know I was saying this over and over again. But uh yeah, that's just all I want to say, want to check in with y'all. We're chilling now, and now the question is, how does semen retention affect, you know, how things go and what I'm feeling? I might add another metric like fear or something like that. Because just to really observe, what if, on lower days I feel like I have more fear of people or something like that. So, that actually I'll just put it down, fear. We'll put fear. So yeah. And I'll put a five. We'll have that as our baseline. But yeah, I mean, everybody's baseline is different, but it's just mine. Notes, bro. Honestly, I did get tempted. Cause I don't want to say, I don't want to put too much of my business out there, because I'm gonna be honest, I am a little worried about people at my work or like in general who know me seeing this, because you know how it is, man. Like I'm not trying to have any problems regarding this, but let's just say, yeah, I did receive some temptation at work. There were some looks. Marlo, like, why are you going in the bathroom? Marlo, come here, buddy. Marlo, come. Marlo. Anyways, bro. So yeah, that's pretty much what. Yeah, yeah. That's where I was. So yeah, I did get tempted. And the temptation was mainly like women wearing, like revealing clothes and having bodies and stuff like that, and getting some glances from them. And all I was doing, man, I was just pacing back and forth. And I had to remind myself, I did a little prayer, but mainly it was just not trying to look and pay attention to that stuff. And honestly, I thank God for that, just to have me not looking at crazy stuff all the time, because I know at this point in my journey, if I even play like I'm talking to them or anything romantic, slightly sexual, I know my mind is going to want to escalate it and escalate. So I'm at the point where I'm like, you know what? Not gonna give into it today, or not gonna even let myself look at it or anything. Now it's just straight. Not even. I don't even want to look at you, and that's been going pretty good for me. So yeah, my sleep was broken up. Like I couldn't say I didn't get enough sleep because I think I slept pretty good. I felt like I was well rested throughout the day. Uh, I was 12, and then I woke up at 6, took care of some stuff, and then I think I went back to sleep at probably fell asleep at maybe 7:30, and then I stayed asleep until 9:10. So I at least got in total 7 hours of sleep, but and that's broken up. You're not getting the full sleep cycle. It's supposed to be one uninterrupted cycle where you dream, do everything, and then boom, you're out the cycle. But yeah, my sleep was good on paper, but I don't think it hit the marks that I wanted it to. But either way, my energy, my social confidence, everything felt good today. Like today, and I would say it's usual for me to have that type of day just recently. Like I said, these past few months, been working on my social skills and stuff like that. So at this point, I'm not really worried about how people perceive me. Uh, um, but I would say this, like me, let's say a year ago. Yeah, like me a year or two ago would look at the day I had today and would be generally like content with it, like because I'm just more social now, and honestly, social anxiety isn't that present in me that much anymore. So, with all that being said, that's just that out the way, and you know, I don't really have a word for y'all, but what I will say is, you can't do this on your own, man. Like almost every time, and this is me, like really realizing that edging wasn't gonna help me at all. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna edge anymore, and if I mess up, I'm not gonna worry about edging or anything like that. And even though I relapsed a lot, it showed me a few things. It showed me how much I was actually falling into lust. You know what I mean? Like, just because you're on a long streak, you got to make sure that your mind is still pure. You got to make sure that you're not entertaining sexual thoughts. Because even though, yeah, if you pay attention to that one metric, it may look like you're doing amazing. But if you look at other metrics, look at yourself more in depth, look at what you're thinking about, what you're saying, what you're giving your attention to, what you're consuming, and what you desire. And that shows more than what day you on semen retention. And I can vouch for that because I was doing these big streaks, these fall streaks, like 120 days. But sometimes, like every day, I would be looking at something or edging, or even like every week. Like that really affected how I felt. And I would say it even took away some of the benefits from me doing that. Because I'll say this, man, me back in the day on the 14-day streak with no masturbation, no nothing, was better than me. Me on a clean 14-day streak is better than me being on like this false 120-day streak. And I don't know, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I think in general people could tell if you want to please them or if you pedestalize them. So it's like if you're doing a semen retention streak and you're edging, it's almost like you're doing it for people. Because you can't be doing it for God if you just edging and edging intentionally. and you almost have no remorse, and you're just edging, you're not taking it seriously. Like, if you do that a lot while you're on a streak, you're doing it for people, and that defeats the purpose. I think lust at its root is a desire to be loved by other people, among other things. The feeling is good and all that. But lust in general is people trying to escape their day and trying to find something, like trying to feel love or to feel appreciated from other people. And of course, sex is the highest version that it's one of the highest versions of showing love to somebody else. And I think when you're edging, sure, you might be getting these long streaks, but you're not getting the benefits, because at the end of the day, you still desire to be loved by other people. So that's the thing, like, that's really how I changed myself and like my social interactions, because I realized, man, even though I don't recommend nobody be on day one consistently, like, no, that's not something you want to do, but that exposed problems within me. Like, when I really had to sit in the fact that, bro, you on day one, I realized what I was doing semen retention for. And it wasn't for God, because, when I was on day one, all I was worried was, are people going to respect me? Are people going to treat me how I want to be treated? Do people like me? And that exposed, why I even edged and did all these things in the first place, is because I'm doing semen retention to be loved by people and to be loved by women. And when you're doing it for that purpose, it defeats the true meaning of semen retention. Because I think most people get their benefits from the psychological fact that, okay, I'm in a position where I'm not chasing the approval to be loved. So when people go on these streaks and, they get benefits and stuff, they're not feeding that desire to be loved. And in turn, when they go into public spaces, it's like they've removed this crutch from themselves. You know what I mean? I hope I'm making sense. And it's almost like a mother too. Like, don't get it twisted. Don't compare like a mother's love to pornography. That's not what I'm exactly trying to say. But what I'm trying to connect is the reliance on a mother figure, or even a girlfriend or somebody in your life, to feel like you are loved and appreciated. Like, at the end of the day, if you rely on somebody to be loved that isn't God, then you're going to have a problem. Because at the end of the day, people are not perfect, and people like to take advantage of the opportunities that they're given. And at the end of the day, it's going to leave you weak. Like, desiring to be loved by other people is going to leave you weak at the end of the day. And I don't know, like, especially pornography and stuff like that, I think there are different tiers to where, of course, you need to find your love in God only. Like, that needs to be your firm pillar, foundation, everything. But, I think you become more vulnerable to being hurt by people and like being worried about what people think about you when you almost seek to be loved by everybody, the whole world, simultaneously. Like, people who are very lustful and, they trying to just crack everything, or even pornography, that are so desperate to feel the love of somebody else, that's almost like prostituting your desire or your loyalty. I don't know. Like, you almost make yourself a slave to everybody because you're trying to please everybody. And I'm telling you, man, something I realized about my social interactions, bro, of course, I'm called to be a servant to people as a Christian, but not to please their flesh. So, of course, I'm supposed to just give kindness in general, but that doesn't mean I attach myself to worship their opinion of me. You feel what I'm saying? So I hope I'm making sense, but at the end of the day, you got to realize that you can't put your heart in everybody's hand. And like in the Bible, it says, guard your heart. You can't put the responsibility of you can't put the condition of your mental state and stuff and how you feel off of how people view you. And I'm telling you, man, that's going to harm you in a long run. And that's how I managed to get to the point where I'm saying I don't need the benefits socially, the semen retention. Not saying that, oh, don't do semen retention. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying do semen retention definitely because you need it and because it's a sin. But I've gotten to the point where socially I don't need the benefits. Why? Because I'm not trying to please people anymore. I'm not worried. That's what another thing, man. Jesus said, man, worrying ain't gonna add a day or an hour, or a single minute, second to your life. It's only gonna take it because you're gonna be stressed out. So if you need to tell yourself consistently, if you're worried about how something's gonna go, you tell yourself, no. Jesus told me, don't be worried. So I'm not gonna be worried about the situation. I'm not worried about how this is gonna go. You need to tell yourself, nah, I'm not gonna be worried about how this situation will play out. And see what happens, bro. See what happens. And you got to genuinely ask yourself that question. Am I worried about what people think about me? But yeah, this video is going along like the last one. So that's pretty much all I got to tell y'all. I feel like I'm on day 3, bro. No, I think I'm on day 1 because I think I relapsed Tuesday. So I'm on day 2. So yeah, I'm on day 2 and the baseline has been established. I'll give y'all a little prayer and we'll be out of here. Lord, thank you, Jesus, for this day. God, I just pray for everybody, God, through this screen, even for myself, God, that you will just help us to realize that you are the only way, God. There is no man way that's going to bring us to heaven, God, that there's only one way, God, and that's a relationship with you, Jesus. And help us to not pedestalize and worship the opinions of people and obsess and idolize the opinions of people through everything that we watch, God, but that you would help us to find our true priority in you and that you would help us to surrender our hearts to you, God. Please work on our hearts. Give us a new heart, a heart that loves you. And just help us, God. Guide us so that we can not be worried about anything, including people's opinions of us, God. And only worry or be focused on our relationship with you. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Trust me, y'all can do this, man. And yeah, day uno.